You'd think carrying an entire league on your back would earn you protection, not persecution. But for Caitlin Clark, the reality has been stunningly different. After an explosive rookie debut, headline-smashing performances, and single-handedly turning every arena into a sellout event, Caitlin Clark now finds herself on the receiving end of something no one saw coming. Not praise, not respect, but backlash. And not just from rival fans or internet trolls. This is coming from inside the house. If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. Whispers turned into headlines. Headlines turned into trending hashtags. And now, there's a growing chorus of voices suggesting the unthinkable, that Caitlin Clark should quit the WNBA. Quit, walk away, step back from the very league she helped elevate to record-breaking visibility. And if that sounds absurd, if your first reaction is, wait, what? You're not alone. But this mess didn't come out of nowhere. It's been simmering beneath the surface for months, boiling hotter with every game, every hard foul, every no call, and every double standard that's been left to rot unchecked. Let's talk about the injury first. It was a slow burn. Not one catastrophic blow, but the accumulation of too many play-on moments when she was being tossed around like a rag doll. No whistles, no texts, just shoulder shrugs and smirks from refs who seemed to forget that this was a player drawing half their audience. And that's the heartbreak of it. Caitlin Clark showed up for the WNBA, but the league didn't show up for her. She was the first in the gym and the last to be protected, the one whose name was on every banner, whose jersey flew off shelves, who brought new fans, new sponsors, and new expectations. But still, somehow, she was treated like just another rookie in a league that didn't know how to handle her impact. Now, she's stepping away, out until April. Her body, her spirit, her brand, all in need of recovery, not just from the physical toll, but from the mental grind of being the league's savior and scapegoat at the same time. And the backlash? Oh, it came in waves. Critics calling her soft, teammates throwing shade in coded language, fans accusing her of caring more about her brand than the game, columnists questioning her heart, her toughness, her grit, as if she didn't just spend a year getting hacked, clobbered, and mocked while still leading the league in highlights and ticket sales. It's wild, isn't it, that a player like Clark, who literally carried the league into a new era, is now the one being told to toughen up or get out. She didn't break. She didn't whine. She kept playing, and still, people are acting like she is the problem, but this isn't about one player. This is about a system that was never built to handle a star like her, a system that wanted the clout, but not the responsibility, the cash, but not the consequence, the spotlight, but only if they controlled the switch. And now the light's too bright. Now they're squinting, because Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's a brand, a leader, a cultural shift wrapped in a ponytail, and a killer jump shot. And the league didn't prepare for that. They thought they were getting a shooter. What they got was a force of nature. And when you try to force that kind of star into a broken infrastructure, you get exactly what we're seeing now. Let's talk about the officiating for a second, because that has been one of the ugliest threads running through this whole saga. It's not just inconsistent, it's negligent. And no, it's not just Caitlin being targeted. But let's not pretend it's not been blatant with her. She's been hammered on drives, clobbered on screens, smacked in the face without so much as a warning issued. The kind of contact that in any other league would send a ref scrambling for their whistle. In the WNBA, silence. And what message does that send? To fans, it says the league doesn't value its stars. To players, it says that physicality without accountability is fair game. And to Caitlin Clark, it says, figure out on your own. No wonder she said, not like this. Because make no mistake, this break until April, this isn't just about recovery. It's a message, a quiet, devastating, crystal clear message. Fix it, or I'm gone. And here's what the league should be terrified of. She could actually leave, not just take a break, not just rehab an injury, but walk away from the WNBA, from the grind, from the thankless burden of being the reason for success and the scapegoat for controversy. She doesn't need the league. Let that sink in. She's already bigger than the brand. Her endorsement portfolio could fund a small country. She's at every media outlet on speed dial and every shoe company waiting for the next move. If she walks away tomorrow, she's not losing value. The league is. And here's the real nightmare scenario. What happens if she doesn't come back? What if April rolls around and she decides, I'm good. I've got other ways to grow my brand, protect my health, and elevate the game without this chaos? That's the kind of outcome that would shatter the WNBA's future plans. Because right now, the league is built around her. The viewership spikes, the sellouts, the national broadcasts, the sponsorships, the youth interest. All roads lead to Caitlin. And without her, the cracks aren't just showing, they're crumbling. But instead of building a system that protects her, honors her, and supports her, they've allowed her to be shoved, slapped, baited, and burned, all while smiling for cameras. It's infuriating, not just for Clark, but for what it means for the next generation of women's basketball stars. Because if this is how you treat your best player, your biggest draw, your cash cow, why would any rising star trust the system? And now the league's backed into a corner. If Clark doesn't return, the dominoes start falling. Broadcast deals lose leverage. Attendance dips back down. Sponsors rethink their strategy. Players start questioning their value. Fans lose trust. Again, all because the league failed to do the one thing they absolutely had to do: protect the product. And Caitlin Clark is the product, but she's also a person. A 22-year-old woman who's being asked to carry an entire sport while being told she's selfish for not sacrificing her health to do it. Let's stop pretending this is normal. Let's stop treating burnout and bodily damage as the price of greatness. Let's stop blaming the player for walking away from a system that refused to meet her halfway. Because the truth, Caitlin Clark didn't quit. She adapted. She saw the writing on the wall. She read the room. She made a power move that said, I will not let this system break me before I reach my prime. And when she returns, if she returns, she won't just be a comeback story. She'll be a blueprint. So let the haters talk. Let the critics doubt. Let the league squirm. Because Caitlin Clark just made it very clear. Her legacy will not be defined by their dysfunction. And if the WNBA wants to keep her, they better start playing a whole different game. Because the one they've been playing, it's already lost. Let us know your thoughts. Did Clark make the right call by stepping away? Is the league to blame for the backlash? And more importantly, what needs to change before April? Sound off in the comments. Hit that subscribe and buckle up. Because the return of Caitlin Clark might just be the biggest moment in WNBA history, if she decides to come back.
Because if you thought the WNBA's Caitlin Clark saga couldn't get messier, more revealing, or more damning, strap in. The truth? We're in uncharted territory now. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just pause her career. She pressed the emergency stop button on a runaway train, and nobody else had the courage to do it. Let's not sugarcoat this anymore. What we're witnessing isn't just a player taking time off. This is a full-on rupture in the relationship between the league and the very engine that's been powering it. And here's what makes this moment so dangerous for the WNBA. She's not afraid of walking away, because she already knows she has options. Let's talk about that. We're in a new era of athlete independence. This isn't the 90s. Players today, they have agency. They have branding teams. They have personal trainers, PR managers, private investors, and a global audience that follows them, not their league. Caitlin Clark could announce a 12-month sabbatical, drop a docu-series on Netflix, launch her own player-led development camp, sign an exclusive deal with a European super team, and have her own sneaker line debut in time for the holidays, all without stepping foot in a WNBA locker room. And that's the league's worst nightmare, because she's now proven she doesn't need the WNBA. But does the WNBA need her? More than they'll ever publicly admit. See, for months they pretended like she was just one star among many. Equal footing. We got talent everywhere. But you know what makes a superstar different from just talent? Irreplaceability. And if we're being real, the WNBA built its entire 2024 to 2025 narrative around Caitlin. Her rivalries, her highlight reels, her polarizing fame, her fan base, her presence. And now that she's stepped away, they're scrambling to reconfigure a whole identity. You can feel the awkward pause, the sudden energy drop, like the orchestra lost its lead violinist and nobody knows who's supposed to play the next note. The All-Star Game ratings tanked? Of course they did. She wasn't there. The seats didn't fill? Duh. She wasn't on the floor. The media coverage dried up? Shocker. She wasn't doing post-game press in front of a WNBA backdrop. Let's stop pretending this was a surprise. But here's something deeper, and this is where it gets really uncomfortable. Clark's absence has exposed something the leagues tried to bury for years. It doesn't know how to develop stars, only how to borrow them. Caitlin came in fully formed. NCAA hype, social media dominance, a pre-packaged, bankable, camera-ready phenom. She arrived as a brand. The WNBA didn't build her. They rushed to catch up to her. And now, without her, what's left? Because instead of nurturing multiple storylines, balancing the spotlight, or investing in long-term visibility for all their top-tier athletes, the league did what many legacy sports leagues do when one player catches fire. They bet the house on a single name. And when that name hits pause, everything else falls apart. This isn't Caitlin Clark's fault. This is the result of lazy marketing, inflexible strategy, and a top-down culture that still doesn't understand how to support female athletes in the spotlight. Want proof? Look at the way the league's own media machine handled her injury. The PR was vague. The tone was off. The spin was immediate. She'll be back soon. No big deal. Focus on the postseason. Meanwhile, Clark's fan base is losing their minds online, begging for updates, pushing hashtag Protect Caitlin into trending territory, and the league's just posting dance trends? It was a disconnect, and it was brutal to watch. Because here's the truth. The league underestimated how emotionally invested people were in Caitlin Clark. Not just because of her shooting range, not just because of the rivalries, but because of what she represents. She's change. She's possibility. She's the kind of once-in-a-generation presence that makes new fans care about women's basketball. Not because they've been guilted into it, but because they're obsessed with it. But the league treated her like a marketing tool, not a person. Not a human being who was being physically attacked on the court, while leadership hid behind statements about letting the game flow. And now they're paying the price. Let's pivot for a moment and talk about other players. Because here's what people aren't saying out loud. Caitlin's decision to walk away, it wasn't just about self-preservation. It was a message to every other player in the league. She just gave the blueprint. You don't have to destroy your body to prove your loyalty. You don't have to smile through bad refereeing and shrug off blatant fouls to be taken seriously. You don't have to be the league's golden goose and their punching bag at the same time. Players are watching this and rethinking their careers. And you better believe agents are watching too. If Clark's break leads to better health, stronger branding, more leverage, and renewed hype when she returns, that opens the floodgates. We could see a future where multiple stars take seasons off, where sabbaticals become strategic, where athletes no longer view playing every game as the only way to earn respect. And for the WNBA, a league already struggling with continuity and depth, that's a very real threat. But maybe the biggest threat of all? What if Caitlin's absence actually sparks reform? What if this break forces the league to finally do the things it's been avoiding? Standardize officiating, revisit physical contact rules, develop players' safety protocols that actually mean something, invest in multiple marketable storylines, give fans transparency, not spin, build a system that supports stars rather than draining them dry. Because if they don't, they won't just lose Clark. They'll lose the moment where the world was watching, where sponsors leaned in, where young girls in packed arenas screamed her name, where social media went nuts for buzzer beaters and logo threes. That moment, it can fade fast. And without Caitlin, the fuse is already burning. So what's the league going to do? Are they going to lean in? Reform? Apologize, even quietly? Will Commissioner Kathy Engelbert acknowledge the backlash and use it as fuel for real change? Or will they try to wait it out, hoping Caitlin comes back in April, plays nice, and lets them continue business as usual? Because let's be clear, there is no usual anymore. The fans are louder, the players are bolder, and the bar has been raised. So, Caitlin Clark told the world she's not playing until April. And what did the world do? It listened. It asked questions. It demanded answers. And it showed the WNBA something no press conference ever could. She has the power. The question is, what will she do with it next? And even bigger, what will the league do to deserve her when she comes back? Because this story, the one where Caitlin Clark quietly exits stage left and the WNBA suddenly finds itself stumbling through the spotlight, isn't done unfolding. Not even close. In fact, we've hit the part of the story where things get awkward. Because now that Caitlin's sitting out until April and the league's scrambling to fill the seats, rewrite the headlines, and salvage what's left of a season that was supposed to be a record breaker, we've arrived at a truth that nobody at the top wants to admit. The WNBA built the house, but forgot to put in support beams. It's like they were so focused on framing Caitlin Clark as the star attraction, so obsessed with marketing her as the moment, that they never actually stopped to ask, what if she leaves? What do we have without her? Spoiler alert, not much. Because here's the deal. The WNBA didn't just lean into the Caitlin Clark wave. They dove into it headfirst without a life vest. And now, the tide's pulled back. And suddenly, the cracks are showing. Let's get into them. First, we need to talk about the media silence. Caitlin's gone. Viewership's dropped. Ticket sales are wobbling. And where's the league's leadership? Where are the transparent statements? The player-first policies? The we hear you messages? Nothing. Nada. A few vague post-game quotes here and there, maybe a tweet about valuing rest, and that's it. Are you serious? This is your biggest star. The one who brought you more attention in a few months than some players did in a decade. And the response to her departure is crickets? That's not just tone deaf, it's strategic silence. A calculated bet that people will forget about the drama if they don't stir it up again. But here's the problem. This isn't going away. Fans aren't dumb. They saw the missed calls. They saw the brutal hits. They saw the way Caitlin was getting banged up every game while the refs tucked their whistles into their socks and stared at the ceiling. And now they see the silence. And silence is a choice. It tells the fans everything they need to know. We'll market her, but we won't protect her. You want a modern fan base? You have to engage like it's 2025, not 2005. That means transparency. It means honesty. It means leadership stepping forward, taking responsibility, and saying, we messed up, and we're going to fix it. Instead, we got no comment. Now let's talk morale inside the locker room. Because while everyone's been focusing on the league-wide implications, let's not forget there's a team that's lost its leader. The Indiana Fever didn't just lose a playmaker. They lost their identity. Caitlin was the core. She was the system. She was the reason the game plan had any structure at all. So what happens to a team when the central gravity disappears? Confusion, fatigue, frustration. You start seeing it in the body language. Players jogging through screens instead of cutting hard. Communication breaking down. The spark? Gone. And that's no shade to the other women on the squad. They're talented. They've been fighting through chaos, showing resilience. But they weren't built to carry this narrative alone. Because here's what the league forgot. Caitlin didn't ask to be the savior. She was just the only one who could be. So when a load became too heavy, when she realized she was playing 48 minutes of basketball and 24/7 a brand ambassador, policy advocate, PR shield, and emotional anchor, she said, no, I choose me. And now her teammates? Left to pick up the broken pieces while the league pretends nothing happened. That's not team culture. That's a setup. Let's shift gears to something even bigger. You ready for this? What does Caitlin Clark's absence say about the future of women's sports visibility? Because it's not just about basketball anymore. Caitlin was never just playing for Indiana. She was playing for representation. For proof that women's sports can sell out arenas, go viral, pull real numbers, and inspire the next generation. She was the proof. And now that she's gone, we've seen just how fragile the ecosystem is. All it took was one player, to hit pause, and the entire wave flattened. Viewership dipped. Brands went quiet. Arena buzz died. And suddenly, every optimistic article about the rise of women's basketball started to feel like a flash in the pan. But that doesn't have to be the end of the story. Caitlin's absence could be a warning or a wake-up call. If the league listens, it could mean Institutional reform. Real investments in player safety and rest. A structured plan for media training and brand building across all teams, not just the ones with one breakout star. A serious push for equitable officiating. And the rise of multiple faces of the league, not just one. But if they keep banking on lightning striking twice, good luck. Because there's no Caitlyn 2.0 waiting in the wings. There's no magic wand. There's only real work, and they're already years behind on it. And now we've reached the part where we ask, what happens if she never comes back at all? Let's say April rolls around, and Caitlyn Clark decides, you know what? I'm healthier. I'm happier. I've rebuilt my energy. And I've realized, I don't owe this league anything. Because let's be real, she doesn't. She owes herself, her longevity, her joy, her future. And if that future looks brighter, playing internationally, launching her own training empire, building media ventures, or pioneering player advocacy work, then that's the route she should take. Because the system she walked into wasn't designed for a player like her. It wanted the benefits of a star without making space for the consequences of ignoring one. Caitlyn Clark didn't break the system. She exposed it. So yeah, people are telling her to quit. Not because she's soft, but because they can feel the imbalance, the disrespect, the exhaustion. And they know she's too valuable to waste in a league that still doesn't fully understand how to protect or promote its assets. But maybe quitting isn't the right word. Maybe what Caitlyn's doing is reclaiming, resetting, redefining what power looks like. And if that scares the league, it should, because when she comes back, if she comes back, it won't just be with a new jump shot and fresher legs. It'll be with a deeper understanding of her worth, with leverage, with legacy on her side. So to those telling Caitlyn Clark to quit the WNBA, be careful what you wish for, because if she does, she'll take the future of the league with her. And if she doesn't, you better believe the system's going to have to answer to her. So now it's your turn. Do you think Caitlyn Clark's break is the beginning of something bigger? Has the league truly grasped what's at stake here? And what should happen before April if they want to earn her return? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit subscribe for more truth bombs and stay locked in. Because the most powerful woman in basketball just walked off the court, and the league may never be the same again.